The very first question a company director needs to ask about technology is, how does this technology make me more competitive? How does this technology help us as a company do things that our competitors will find difficult to do? What's really driving competition is customer expectation. Customers know what everybody else is doing. So you really need to understand what is your customer's major expectation, and can technology exceed those customer expectations in the way in which you're engaging with them, the way in which you're delivering and meeting their needs. So the way that we look at both competition and customer expectation is, it's vital for us to understand our corporate strategy. What are we trying to achieve as an organisation? What are our goals? And technology must be very tightly aligned to deliver on achieving those strategic goals. When you look at the way in which a lot of invention takes place, is it takes a startup. We all know the Kodak story. They invented the digital camera, but other people exploited it. We need to actually understand the startup industry. We need to understand what brings entrepreneurs to recognise that something can be solved in a different way. Large companies, medium-sized companies, need to understand what those small startups are doing, engage with them and make it part of their story, not their demise. When companies are starting to reflect on those strategic plans, when they really look at what are the opportunities they've got, what are the threats, often today technology allows us to broaden or deepen the opportunities that we've got, but most importantly allows us to build very strong defences to the onset of disruption. And if you look at the newspaper industry, when you look at media, when you're looking at retail, when you're looking at banking, often the solution to meeting a threat is in fact to construct a better toolkit based on that technology. When Malcolm Turnbull became Prime Minister, he said, this is an exciting time to be in Australia, and we need to actually be agile, we need to be innovative in the way in which we operate. And so every company needs to look very carefully at the way in which they're dealing with customers, the way in which they're dealing with their suppliers, and are they able to bring together excellent suppliers through their processes, operating very efficiently to deliver to a sophisticated, demanding customer the best possible outcome. And that comes from thinking carefully and innovating and polishing what we're doing and being flexible, being able to be agile in the way in which we're delivering those services. We can't be locked into the way that we've done it in the past. The most important thing is that we start with the board. The board has to set the appetite for risk, and within that work with the executive to develop the technology plan to execute for the company. And once that's established, the board needs to hold the executive to account for the delivery of the results that have been committed by the executive. And the executive needs to understand, what does the board know, what is the board capable of, and hold the board accountable for what it is that has been set. And so within that process, we need transparency, and we need to be able to identify, this has worked and therefore we want to invest more, and this has not worked so we want to stop it, and fail early, fail often. The challenge about technology risk and information systems particularly is that they are very complex, and that complexity means it's very hard to be able to identify what can go wrong and what are the early indicators that there is substantial risk that needs to be identified. And one of the problems is that catastrophic risk looks as though it's actually will never occur, or rarely occur. And when it does occur, it brings in a whole lot of consequences which might be that threatens the survival of the enterprise itself. And so when we're establishing those technology risks, we really need to have a very open dialogue, and we need to be able to identify what risks have we identified. And the best way of doing that is in fact by sharing information, not just within the enterprise, but within others like us. You know, can we in fact, across the industry, across the globe, identify what are the risks around technology, and have we really thought about what those risks are, and have we got a plan to mitigate those risks if they eventuate.
Video-supported CEO blogging from Thought Leadership Partners can build you an industry-leading blog without the time commitment, so you can show your expertise to thousands of your best customers and prospects every week.